Hello, and welcome to this program session. I'm Gabriela, and I'm the program leader of the BA in English Language and Culture programs of the Open University of Hong Kong. In this program session, I will first begin with an overview regarding the structure of our program. As you could see, that our program is a 4-year full-time program. Our program provides students with a broad understanding of the English language through a variety of courses in fiction, drama, popular culture, poetry, films, language study, and etc. Through these courses that you could see in front of you, students will be equipped with the mastery of English and also knowledge of the corresponding cultural frameworks. Our program is also approved by the government as a recognized English language major degree program. That means graduates who want to become language teachers could apply for relevant grants. Perhaps you may not want to be a teacher. If this is the case, don't worry. I will let you know some other possibilities towards the end of my session today. And I believe that most of the participants today will be applying through Jupiter's application. I believe that most of you today are actually Jupiter's applicants. So I would like to remind you, you could see from the PowerPoint slide in front of you, the basic admission requirements. So the list here actually really demonstrates the minimum requirement of our university. Whether we really would give an offer to a candidate depends on some other factors like the number of applications that we are going to receive. And in some situations, we may also consider giving interviews to candidates as well. And if you're ready, there could be some non-Jupiter's applicants for our section today. So for local applicants who only got DSE examination results, you should apply through Jupiter's. But we also accept and also welcome non-Jupiter's application. So we actually accept many different qualifications. Like for year 1 entry, we accept qualifications such as the IB diploma. We also welcome students who have already completed the first year of an associate degree or a higher diploma program for year 1 entry as well. And we welcome also upper year entry, particularly for students who have already completed a relevant or a non-relevant associate degree or higher diploma program. So you could see also some basic requirements here. For non-Jupiter's candidates, we usually would give them a chance to demonstrate their qualities through an interview so that we could know more about the talents and the abilities of the candidates as well. And I think for most of you, you'll be interested in knowing more about the actual structure of the program. And you could see in front of you the requirements of the program. Once you have been admitted to our program, you will be asked to complete a total of 160 credits. So in the university, when you have completed a particular course, if you could get a pass, you will be given some credits, usually 5 credits for each course being offered by our university. So you need to complete a total of 160 credits in order to graduate. And regarding the components of these 160 credits, we have 120 credits of compulsory courses. So they are all related to English language and culture. Even though we got the scary term compulsory courses, we try to give students flexibility as well. So I'm going to explain this to you very, very soon. Item 2, you could see 20 credits of outside discipline courses. Outside discipline, that means they are not English language or culture courses. But why are we asking students to take these outside discipline courses? I think one very important thing about university education is, of course, we respect diversity. we also try to know something other than our area of expertise. So for these 20 credits of outside discipline courses, students could also select what they would like to learn in university. You could select Chinese courses, courses about investment, and so on. So I'm going to give you some examples as well very, very soon. Please wait for that. And the remaining 20 credits will be 20 credits of GE courses. Similar to outside discipline courses, GE, general education courses, will allow students to learn more in other areas as well. So GE courses would very often be courses at a more foundational level. Okay, so you're going to become an English major. You know a lot about language, but you may want to know a little bit about computing, okay, or something related to science and technology. So the GE courses will allow you to learn something basic, to acquire some basic knowledge in these areas as well. So we take a look at first some of the compulsory courses being offered by our program. Now in front of you, you could see courses to be taken in year 1. The structure is that in each semester, like autumn semester, students will be asked to take 4 courses. So in year 1, we have already chosen 3 compulsory courses for our students. They are related to English language and culture. You could see classic American films, introduction to English fiction, and also a course on grammar, the structure of modern English words and sentences. So they are the compulsory courses that we have chosen for our students. Other than these 3 compulsory courses, you will be asked to select 1 GE course. So you will be given freedom to select from a list of courses. Similarly, in spring semester, now each year we got 2 semesters, the autumn semester and also the spring semester. Autumn semester is going to begin in September, and very often it's going to end either in December or January after the examination. We have spring semester either in late January or early February. It is going to end during May, okay, before the summer holidays. So each year we got 2 semesters. For the spring semester, we're going to select 3 courses for our students as well. They are related to English language and culture. You could see British and American short stories, introduction to English drama and poetry, and also the structure of modern English. This is part 2 of the course that you are going to take in autumn, sounds and meaning. Other than these 3 compulsory courses, you will be given freedom to select an outside discipline course, and again from a list that we are going to provide for you. Basically, this is going to be the structure for year 1 and also year 2. Starting from year 3, you'll be given even more flexibility. You could select among the list of compulsory courses as well. If you're ready, dear students, let us now take a look at some of the outside discipline elective courses that we offered for our students. And so you could see some of the examples here. They are not from the discipline of English language and culture, but they are highly related to what you're going to learn in our program. Now, take the example of world cinema, world art, new media culture, museum studies. They would help us in consolidating and also to expand what we have learned in the compulsory courses. So they are related to our program, but they are not exactly courses in the field of English language and culture. So this is the list of outside discipline courses. Actually, some of the examples of the courses that we think would be relevant to the study, the major area of our student. So other than outside discipline elective courses, as I've mentioned, for GE, general education courses. Students will also be given flexibility as well. For GE courses, actually the range and also the choices being available for students, there will be a greater number. As I've mentioned, you could learn something about computing, you could learn how to become a KOL, something about investment, something about the environment. So we hope that our students could explore something different, okay, through studying in our program. Your major will be English language and culture, but other than that, you will fully be equipped with some basic knowledge that will help you for your future development. So you could see in front of you now, courses to be taken in year 2, just like what I have explained. We have selected 3 major compulsory courses for you in each semester, and you'll be given freedom to select the 4th course, either a GE or an outside discipline course. For year 3 and year 4, as I've promised, you'll be given more flexibility to select even among the list of compulsory courses. Now, up till now, I think you know something about the structure of our program, but particularly for students who have just completed the high school or the secondary school, you also got questions like how would, studying English be different, studying English in university, how would that be different from studying English in a secondary school or in a high school scenario? So in the following, we know that our topic today is traveling around the world of words. I would say that our program is very suitable for students who are interested in the English language, who showed both a certain level of devotion and also curiosity in the formation and also the evolution of the English language in the modern world. So our course would provide students with opportunities in exploring this topic further. So to allow you to know more about what exactly would be some of the key or major elements to be investigated in our program, I would like to give you a little experience on being an English major in my very short talk today. Now, so our topic is traveling around the world of words. In front of you, you could see a little comic, okay? And one very basic requirement to be an English major in the university is that for sure you need to enjoy reading. There are things that you do not understand. There are challenging things, difficult words, abstract concepts, or things that you have never heard of. But you have to show that you are interested in knowing more and learning more. It is like reading this very little comic. We try to understand now. If we understand, it is supposed to be a rather humorous comic. Now we take a look. In front of you, you should be able to see 2 women. They're having a conversation. And then on the other side, you could see a man sitting in front of a computer. Let us now take a look at the conversation between these 2 women. And one of them is now saying, I think Larry is taking me to France. And here we pause a little bit. We think about, do we know Larry? Based on what we have just read from this comic, do we have enough information to believe that a particular character is Larry? I think we got an idea that the man sitting in front of the computer is Larry. Now, we do not know this man, but based on our reading, we reasonably believe that this man is Larry. Through this, we could work out further some possible relationships between this woman who is now talking and also Larry who is now sitting in front of the computer. Some possible relationships could be they are husband and wife. They have already been married. So we could see the married couple here. Another possibility could be they are lovers. Okay, so you can generate some other possibilities as well, because reading, other than it is a little bit different from doing reading comprehension exercise in the high school. I think for most of the scenarios, doing reading comprehension exercises in the high school would involve absolute answers. But very often in our reading, either of literary words or some other things, in exploring the beauty of English or language, we can generate different interpretations and possibilities. So other than they have been married, they are lovers, you can generate other possibilities. In a university environment, we're going to have discussion among peers, that means with your friends in class and also with teachers, with the tutors, to generate different possibilities. In some scenarios, we may not have absolute answers, but we generally accept convincing answers. Okay, we evaluate whether the suggestions, the interpretations, whether they are acceptable and convincing, whether they are convincing for most of the people in the class. Now, I think Larry is taking me too fast. Why does she think in this way? He has spent all day Googling Paris Hilton. This woman believes that Larry is going to go to France with her, maybe for a staycation, because he has spent all day Googling Paris Hilton. Now, dear students, if you understand this picture, if you know that's not the case, because of the ambiguity of the name Paris Hilton, okay, so congratulations. This is the first step to become an English major. But if you do not understand, dear students, don't worry. We hope that through university education, you're going to learn more. You're going to learn things that at this stage, you got no idea about. But it is very important for us to learn together. The key phrase here really is Paris Hilton. From the point of view of this woman, Paris Hilton means the Hilton Hotel, a famous hotel in Paris. That's why she thinks that Larry is going to go to Paris with her, because she believes that Paris Hilton, that's the Hilton Hotel in Paris. But we know that may not be the case, in the sense that Paris Hilton means another thing as well. So this is the ambiguity of the English language, or in matters related to languages. Paris Hilton is also the name of a very famous American celebrity. Paris Hilton is an American woman. So Larry is also possibly Googling another woman rather than looking up for information related to having a staycation with this woman in Paris. So if we understand there is a feeling, a humorous feeling being generated by this comic. And in this program, we're going to explore in further details about the beauty, about the ambiguity of the English language with reference to the corresponding cultural framework. And in my section today, I also would like to introduce two poems to you, dear students. We understand that in our program, students will be given opportunities to explore different genres of literary works. Through these literary works, they're going to know more about the essence, the formation, and as I've mentioned, this transformation of the English language. And through the upcoming poems, I also hope that you could think in further details some other possible interpretations that could be generated, so that we have little experience on how would that, on the experience of learning English together in a university environment. The two poems I've chosen for you, they are very, very short poems. but surprisingly, they carried a meaning beyond this very, very light or relaxed environment or atmosphere. So light first, very often on the surface, they demonstrate something rather simple, but if we're going to pay some efforts, we think in further details, we're going to know more about the implications behind. We can also think about whether the situation being depicted could help us to comprehend more about the world that we are living in as well. The first poem that I'm going to read with you, this poem is entitled "The Golf Links Lie So Near the Mill." It is impossible for us to, understand the poem without having the mindset that we want to imagine the real scene. So number one, let us now imagine a golf link, a golf course. And we also try to visualize immediately next to the golf course, we could see the mill, a factory. We imagine there is a factory next to the golf course. The golf links lie so near the mill that almost every day, the laboring children can look out and see the men at play. We imagine further, next to the golf course, we have a factory. Inside the factory, we have laboring children. So the social problem of having child workers has been depicted. We have these children. They are not studying, they are not learning or having fun. They have to work. They have been working in the factory. And while they work in this factory, they could see men playing golf game next to the factory. Now, and then here, some other implications that could be derived. Number one, it violates our idea regarding children should be enjoying themselves, they should be receiving good education, they played, having fun, things like that. No, they need to work. Well, if we got a typical assumption that men should be working, no, they are now playing golf game. We could also think about the choice of words, like why at play, why not playing? What's the effect being generated by selecting or applying this combination of words at play? We can think about whether at play, the term, carries the meaning that through playing the golf game, these men, they could be business partners, they could be socializing with each other through playing the golf game. There is a sense of irony here. As we have mentioned, children are not playing, children are not studying, but they are working. Men are also not playing, they are not working, but they are playing. So from this very, very short poem, of course, it is light, but there is also a gloomy feeling in the sense that the world shouldn't be like this, right? So some social problems have been depicted. We also know that the poets could skillfully predict the mentality of us as the reader. She also got the idea that men should be working, our stereotypical assumption, children should be playing, but the facts being depicted in this poem, the fact demonstrates a different scenario. So dear students, if you also enjoy thinking in further details about the magic and also the formation, the combination of language, I think the program is very suitable for you. There were things that we do not know, but through having discussion now in class, different students would generate different interpretations. So other than what I have just mentioned, you may have some other suggestions as well. It is also important for us in the class environment to share with each other what we think about the same poem. Okay, you're all very unique, so you have some different ideas. Through sharing, we could tell whether our ideas are convincing, critical, or acceptable. If you're ready, we can also take a look at a second poem. The second poem, from my point of view, is not very gloomy. It is a rather interesting poem, but there is also something hidden here in this poem. Just like the first poem, there is a sense of ambiguity. We take a look at this poem together. This is just to say, I've eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet, and so cool. And again, step number one, we try to imagine. So this poem is also like a little note being posted on the refrigerator as a way to communicate with your family member. Now, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox. I've eaten some fruits in the refrigerator. I need to tell you that I have eaten them. Why? In the second stanza, now in poetry, we do not use terms like paragraphs or sentences. We use stanza to replace paragraph. We use line to replace sentence in the second stanza, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Now that means for the speaker of the poem, he or she is now telling us, I know that you have reserved the plums for breakfast, but I have eaten your plums. So this is something very rude. You know that your family member has reserved the fruits as breakfast, and still you have eaten somebody's breakfast. The third stanza, forgive me. So asking for forgiveness, this is like an apology. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. The person who is now reading this note would never have the chance to eat the plums. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet. You have deliberately mentioned how good these plums could be. The person who is now reading, we can think about his mental activities, whether he feels good, whether he feels bad. So delicious, particularly so sweet and so cold. On the surface, so sweet and so cold are used to describe the fruits or the plums. But when we think in further details, so sweet and so cold could also be used to represent this little note that means the poem. What does that mean? It is a sweet thing that you have eaten somebody's food. So now you're telling that person, sorry, I've eaten your fruits. This is sweet. It is also cold, that means cruel, not good, in the sense that, as I have mentioned, you know that person has saved the fruits for breakfast, but you have deliberately eaten somebody's breakfast. So when we investigate and think in further details, we could generate different possibilities. Dear students, you're also very creative and innovative. I'm very sure that you got some other suggestions regarding these two poems that we have read. And you could also create your own poem, not simply an imitation, but based on what you have learned. You could create poems and different writings that reflect our situation and also your mentality as young people in the 21st century as well. So I hope these little readings would give you some idea on the experience as an English major in our university. As I've mentioned, for year 1 and year 2, we have designed the compulsory courses for our students. They will be given flexibility to select GE and also outside discipline courses. In year 3 and year 4, we give them full flexibility. Even for compulsory courses, they could select from the list that we're going to provide to them. So in front of you, you could see in year 3 and year 4, some of the choices that we give to our students for the compulsory components. So you have flexibility to select. Like for example, if you prefer children's literature, Harry Potter, for instance, you could select folktales and children's literature in English. Or you prefer, for example, horror, violence, and culture, so you could select another course. If you're more interested in food culture in media, you could also select British and American food culture in media and so on. So these are the middle level courses. And then for year 4, students will be asked to take more higher level courses. So you could see in front of you the list of higher level courses like Shakespeare, Chinese literature in English translation, research methods for English studies. This would be something very, very useful for students who would like to go for postgraduate studies after the graduation, after they have completed our 4-year program. For sure, there will also be students who are more interested in the English language rather than literature or culture. So you could also select from a variety of applied English linguistics courses. So you could see introduction to sociolinguistics, stylistics, semantics, and so on. Okay? So basically, that would be the structure of our program. And of course, other than studying, we believe that if the situation allows, it is also very important for our students to explore further. So to enrich the campus life of our students, we will be providing various types of activities to broaden their horizons. Whenever the situation allows, we encourage students to take part in study tours, internships, exchange programs, academic seminars, particularly for students who would like to go for a master's degree, for instance. So I think from these happy faces that you could see in front of you, you could see that they really enjoyed joining these activities. And it is very important as language and also, as language students, to explore further, not only in the local setting. If the situation allows, you're strongly encouraged to explore more about the English language and also the corresponding cultural environment in different settings as well. Okay, and at the beginning of the talk today, I've mentioned for students who want to become an English teacher, so you can pay attention to the outstanding feature that our program would be very useful for students who would like to become English teachers in Hong Kong. And I've also suggested that for students who may not want to become language teachers, don't worry, you got some other choices. Now, in front of you, you could see a lot of faces, okay? And I bet you know, if not all, many of the faces in front of you. You could see, for example, a very famous actress, very famous actor and filmmaker, politicians, director, musicians, and so on. So applicants very often will be interested in knowing some possible career paths. Actually, instead of asking what English majors could do, why not think in the other way? That means, what can't they do? Now, the faces that you could see in front of you, these people, they studied language during the undergraduate years. I think from what they are now doing or what they have done previously, you could tell that actually for language majors, other than being teachers, they have many different possibilities. Because the study of language would allow them, would equip them with a very important elements, having critical thinking, having critical mindsets. That would be something very, very useful in different fields. So you could see from the choices that these people have made, there is no doubt that you could try, being engaged in different industries and sectors. But if you would like to have some accurate answers other than teachers, what I could do, we have also prepared something for you. Now particularly I think most of our students or graduates will be interested in these fields. So you could see a very wide range of jobs and also, jobs and also areas that could give you a lot of chances to demonstrate your talents and also what you have learned related to English language and culture as well. And of course, there will also be many graduates who would like to continue with their studies. And take the example of our graduates, our English majors. So other than pursuing a master's degree in English language or in English literature, they have tried different things as well. They would like to study something different for their master's degree as well. So you could try, for example, museum studies, anthropology, or even fine arts, for instance. So I think from this, you could see the importance of having courses other than English language and culture, from the outside discipline courses, from the general education courses. You could explore some other potentials that you have as well. Now, dear participants, you could think about whether you have any questions for me regarding our university or the program. In front of you, you could see my email address, the websites of our program, and also the QR code that could bring you to our website. So if you have any questions, it's now time for you to raise questions that you have. You may use the chat function to raise questions that you have. So participants, if you have questions, please send out your messages to me accordingly. And if you do not have any questions, yes, if you have questions, maybe you are typing your questions. So I'll be here waiting for your questions. But if you feel very clear about the program, you know whether this program is suitable for you or not, you may now leave as well. Thanks for attending this session today. We look forward to seeing you very, very soon in our university. Goodbye.